Konnichiwa, I am Sensei Kozarski, an instructor with Penn State Campus Recreation, Fitness and Wellness. The break period we're all experiencing is challenging in a number of ways. We recognize the importance of your academic work. However, to be at your best, you need to be mindful of your overall well-being. Making physical activity part of your routine to stay healthy and fit contributes to your mind-body wellness. This introductory karate session is one step in helping you achieve your goals. First, a few things to keep in mind. A social distance of 2 to 3 meters or at least 2 arm lengths is recommended, but never train alone. Start and stop as needed and feel free to modify anything in our training session today. If you don't own equipment, no worries. Many common household items can be great alternatives. Make sure you're moving in an open, safe space, free of furniture and other obstacles. Be sure to wipe surfaces before and after exercising. Wear comfortable clothing. Eat healthy meals and stay hydrated. If exercising outside, remember to apply sunscreen. If you feel dizzy, short of breath, or any pain, stop immediately. For a regular karate workout, we would begin by warming up with some running exercises around the dojo. But today, in this limited space available, I'm going to borrow from a different discipline called Pilates. For the Pilates warm-up exercises that I'm going to go through, all you need is a mat or a carpeted surface and enough space to lay down in. These will be done on your back and will engage the abdominals as we go through the different exercises. We're going to start with the Pilates 100. You're going to lay down, bring the head up, keep the abs flat, and you want to close down the space in your lower back a little bit. You don't have to press it into the mat or the floor really hard. Just engage the abdominal muscles, tilt the pelvis. If you're a beginner, you may do this with your legs down like this. As you get more advanced, you can bring the legs up. This requires greater control in the abdominals. As you get further along, you can lift the legs and then begin to extend them outward. So we're going to assume one of these positions and then start beating the arms up and down. You breathe in through the nose for a 5 count, and then exhale for a 5 count through the mouth. Okay? So relax the head, and let's go through it. We'll curl the head up and off the mat, lift the shoulders. For the first 5, I'm just going to have my feet down. That's 10. Lift the feet if you can. Keep the back flat to the ground. Extend the legs if you can. Lower them if you can. Bring them back in, put them down, lower your head. You would do that for a series of 100 counts, breathing in 5 times through your nose, and then out through your mouth 5 times, until you get to 100. Modify the exercise to your level. The next group of exercises are dubbed the Pilates series of 5. We'll be again engaging and working on the core muscles. We'll want to keep the lower back flat to the mat, not pressed in too hard though. And we're going to stretch the legs in a variety of different ways. So we start off laying down like we did for the 100. Lift the head up, bring the legs up. We're going to do a bicycle motion, bringing one knee up towards the shoulder as we extend the other foot in the opposite direction. And you can speed this up. We're then going to go into a double leg extension. We'll do that 10 times. 1, 2. It's a little harder on the abs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and relax. The next one, we're going to do some straight leg scissoring. Legs will go up towards the ceiling. Lift the head up off the mat. Reach up and grab behind the calf and stretch the leg towards you as the opposite leg stretches in the other direction. And exchange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Each ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. Bring them in. I threw in a little bit of Japanese counting on the second half. The next exercise is double leg, lower and lifts. So we again point the feet towards the ceiling, engage the abs, bring the head up. And I'm going to lower and lift the legs. This might be really challenging if you're starting out, and you may have a hard time keeping your lower back flat to the mat. One thing that you can do to help with that is to put your hands under your pelvis, and it keeps the pelvis tucked a little better. So if you're feeling any discomfort in the lower back, try putting the hands underneath and going to 10. You don't have to go this entire range. You can go part way out and part way back. If you're up to it, you go the full way, down and up, down and up. If you're fine in the abdominal control, you can put your hands back here to give your neck a little bit of a rest. And it leads into the last of the series of 5. Down, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each ni, san, shi, go. Bring the legs down, relax the head for a moment. The last in the series of 5 is a crisscross. We're going to combine the first move, the first exercise that we did, the bicycling motion, with some upper body work, engaging more of the abdominal. We're going to bring elbow to knee. A modification is to just start in this position with the feet down and bring your elbow up, alternating sides. A little more advanced, you can start with your feet down and then bring the knee up and the elbow together, alternating sides. The full exercise, you would have the feet up, head up, and you would alternate elbow to knee on either side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In Japanese, Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. Bring them back in and relax down. And that's the Pilates series of 5, beginning first with a 100 warm-up, then followed by single leg extensions, this bicycling motion where the legs are going out and back, double leg extensions where you have the arms going above the head and the feet extending away, scissoring, straight legs are cutting back and forth, combined double leg lower and lift, and then the knee to elbow crisscrossing at the end. Another one of the conditioning and warm-up exercises that we do is the push-up. It's an integral part to our karate. I'll show you a few different variations, starting with the goal that you want to get to, the full plank push-up. We do this by, first we're going to rest our weight on the 2 knuckles of each hand. This helps condition our hands for punching, strengthens the wrists and the forearms. So we're trying to balance on the wrist without it bending. A lot of people will find this very difficult in the beginning. If you can only do one of these to start with, do 1 on your knuckles. Then the next time you do it, try to do 2 or 3, 4. Increase as you go until you can build up your hands to do as many as you like on the knuckles. We're also going to do this in a plank position. So from the top of your head down through your heels, it'll be a straight line and you're going down and up, down and up. As we're doing the push-ups, it'll be a punching-like motion. We try to keep the elbows in close to the body and focus on the tricep extension of the arm, out and back. So, turn, get in a nice straight line. If you have a weak area, you might start bending this way or that way, but eventually you want to get to a nice straight line. I'm on my knuckles, I'll go down and up, 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 down, up. If you can't do any more full plank push-ups, you can drop to your knees and go down and up, down and up. Again, trying to maintain a plank, but this time from my knees through the top of my head. Down and up, down and up. Elbows in, close to the body, down and up. Most of you are probably used to doing sort of a wide hand position push-up, like this. But what we're doing here is focusing on the triceps for the punching. Elbows in, down and up, down, up, down, up. If you can't do any more on your knees, you can modify the push-up again, maybe against the wall or a railing, and going down and up. This really doesn't have a good surface to do the knuckle push-up, so I'll use the open palms. But I still want to keep my elbows in, down, up. Try to keep that straight back. If you had a bench, I have a lower rung on here. You can go down and up, just don't hit your head. So use whatever's in your environment and adapt as needed. Eventually do more and more full plank push-ups. Now that we're warmed up, let's do some punching and blocking exercises. We do a variety of different types of blocking and punching. We're going to begin in an open stance. You can put your left foot forward, your right foot back, bend the knee over the toes. For the punch, we're going to start near the ribs, the lower ribs, palm up, push the arm forward, rotate the palm down near the end of your extension. Then we're going to alternate sides, out and back. You want to keep the arm inside, close to the body. Try not to let the elbow lift away from you as you extend the punches. That will weaken the technique. Step forward, chamber, Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. I'll do a few from the side. Chamber near the lower ribs. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. We can also do this with a vertical punch instead of twisting from palm up to palm down, just sending the punch forward. Come up from the hip to the lower ribs, extend the punch forward, and then alternate sides. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. As I'm throwing punches, it's not just the arm movement, but I'm generating power from the center, and it's coming from a solid base with your feet. For some blocking, we'll start with lower and then go to a higher blocking. So I'll turn to the side so you can see this a little better. We'll come from the shoulder down over the knee, like I'm hammering away at something. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. You can alternate sides each and take a step each time. A little more movement. And whenever I forget my count, I always begin at 1. Doesn't hurt to do a few extras. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. So as I'm stepping forward, my hips are turned slightly this way. As I chamber, then I unwrap, uncurl, and extend the block downward. This block can also be done this way. Instead of hammering, swing down with the back of the hand facing outward. Back of the hand facing outward. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. You can do this at a mid-body level, coming from the hip up to shoulder height. Ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. So my arm is just coming from the hip up to the shoulder. And again, I'm using hip motion to unwrap. And then at the very end, I tighten down and it's very solid. The elbow Stays very close to the ribs as I'm doing this block. I have no more than a fist distance from my elbow to my rib cage. So we did low, we did a medium. We'll do a couple rising blocks coming from the hip up above the head. One hammering at the ceiling, and then one with the palm facing you and the back fist facing outward. Ichi, ni, son, hi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. From the side, I'll do the palm facing in, back fist facing outward. And instead of stepping forward, this time I'll step backwards. Ichi, ni, son, hi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, ku, ju. If you have more space available to you, you can start with a set of 10 stationary and then do a set of 10 walking. So if I start back here, I can step out once and keep moving forward as far as I have room for. You can combine these things, blocks and punches. So I'll take a few steps. 1, punch. 2, block, punch. 3, block, punch. So let's do just a few of these walking back and forth. Step, chamber, extend the block, throw the punch. Step forward, wind up, chamber, block down over the knee, throw the punch. Step forward, chamber up at the shoulder, block down over the knee, throw your punch. Step, chamber, block, punch. I'll turn around, block, punch, block, punch, block, punch, block, punch. You can go back and forth like that. Maybe you only have enough room for 2 or 3 steps. Turn around, come back the other way. We'll do a few more back and forth. Block high, punch, block low, punch, block low, punch, block high, punch, turn around, block, punch, block, punch, block, punch. Most of the punches that I was doing initially were coming from the rear leg side going forward. The punch can also come from the front leg side and go forward. Punch, rear side, rear side, rear side, rear side. Sometimes it's called reverse punch. Turn around, punch, punch, punch off the front side, or lead punch. Once we've gone through and learned a number of different basics, we can combine those into longer series called kata. The kata contain different applications for self-defense, and it's a way that you can memorize more techniques. You can consider it kind of a moving meditation as you go through this. Visualize what's coming next and how you're interacting with the opponent. We'll begin with an introductory kata called Fukyugata Daichi. I will make some modifications so that I can do it within my smaller space, and you can follow along at home. This was developed when the Okinawan masters got together and decided to come up with a simpler form of kata to introduce people to Okinawan karate. Other katas have greater levels of complexity. As we go through this, we're going to travel in 8 different directions, moving forward and back, side to side, and then each of the diagonals. The different movements are repeated often in mirroring directions, so it's easy to pick up. We begin by going to the left, and the series of moves that we use to the left: step out into a long stance, throw the low block that we did before, step up into a shorter stance and throw a punch. Then we look to the right side and repeat that, going in this direction. Long stance, low block over the lead leg knee, step up into shorter stance, throwing a lead leg punch. There are two stances used in Fukyugata Daiichi. This long stance and a shorter, more upright stance. So we're going to go through the kata, and most of the time when we're using this long stance, it's the first stance of the sequence, and it's accompanied by this blocking motion. The shorter stances will follow the long stance. So after you do a long stance, step up and do the short stance. The techniques that we use in the kata are simplified to one low block, one high block, one punch to the chest level, one punch high to the head level. So from the beginning, again, we're going to the left first. Step out, low block, punch. Turn to the right, low block, long stance. Step up, punch. We can do that a few times. Starting with my feet just side by side in a relaxed stance. Look to the left, chamber, step out, long stance, low block, punch. Look to the right, turn 180 degrees, low block, punch. In the kata, we only do that side one time, and then we move on to the next segment. For practice purposes, you can do that as many times as you like until you're comfortable with it. Low block, punch, low block, punch, low block, punch, low block, punch, long stance, short stance, long stance, short stance. So you can go back and forth within a very small area. After we do side, the next element is moving forward. We're going to repeat what we did side, and then add the new segment going forward. Look to the left, low block, punch. Look to the right, long stance, low block, short stance, punch. Turn forward, throw a low block, long stance, then 3 punches. 1, 2, 3, stepping each time forward. I'll show that from the side. So we would start, look to the left, long stance, low block, short stance, punch. Turn 180 degrees to the right, long stance, low block, short stance, punch. Now I'm turning forward, long stance, low block, then 3 punches. 1, 2, 3, stepping each time. And you can see that I can get those 3 steps within just this small area that I'm working. So from the front view, look, low block, punch, turn 180 degrees, low block, punch, forward, long stance, low block, step up, punch. 1, 2, 3. From the side, I'll start back to the left, long stance, low block, short stance, punch. turn 180 degrees, long stance, low block, short stance, punch. Turn forward, long stance, low block, punch 1, punch 2, punch 3. So we've gone left, we've gone right, then forward. The next piece of the kata takes us on our first diagonal. So let me walk through, repeating what we did, then I'll turn, and after we do this turn onto the diagonal, you'll do a long stance. We usually start with that long stance and a block. Low block again, followed by a step up short stance and a high block. So on this next segment, the first diagonals, long stance, low block, short stance, high block. Let's do the kata again from the beginning. Look left, long stance, punch. Repeat to the right. Long stance, low block, short stance, punch. Forward, long stance, low block. 1 punch, 2 punch, 3 punch. I'm going to turn counterclockwise and face that corner. I look, turn, long stance, low block, short stance, high block, and I repeat it on the opposite diagonal. Long stance, low block, short stance, high block. Okay, so if I'm facing the camera, that would look like this: long stance, low block, short stance, high block, long stance, low block, short stance, high block. So I'm going on these 2 diagonals to my rear. Again, look to the left, step out, block, punch, turn around, block, punch, go forward, block, punch, 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 counterclockwise. On the diagonal, block, block, other diagonal, block, block. Let's go this way. You can go the same way that I'm going, or you can just view it from the side. Look to the left, block, punch. Look to the right, block, punch. Forward, block, 1, 2, 3. Turn counterclockwise, block, block. Other 45, block, block. You see how we're mirroring things in the beginning, side, side. Then we go forward, and then we mirror things going to the back diagonals. The next piece of the kata, we mirror the front back movement. So when we were going forward, it was block and 3 lead punches, stepping forward. When we turn around and go in the opposite direction, we begin with a reverse punch, and then 3 more reverse punches. It's the only place in the kata where we don't start out with a block. So we go from our diagonal into a turn that throws a punch first. And it's the first place that we kiai in the kata. I haven't mentioned kiai before, but it's that karate shout or yell that you'll sometimes hear at a tournament, or if you see in the movies. It kind of energizes you, it distracts the opponent. It can be used in many different ways. And that's the kiai. It's your energy that you're gathering and channeling. So I'll go from the beginning, I'll add the new segment to the rear, and then I'll turn to the side and do it again so you can see it from that view. Look to the left, block, punch. To the right, block, punch. Forward, block, punch, punch, punch. 3 times. Counterclockwise turn. Look, turn, block, block. Look to the right, turn, block, block. Now you can see how my fist is chambered already. I pulled it in after the last block. Going to the rear, I'm going to turn and then throw a punch and ki-ai. Hiya! I don't want to do that too loud. It'll kill the mic, create a lot of static. But you want to do hiya. Nice piercing sound from the abdomen, not up from the throat. So from this last move, we had that high block. I'm going to step to the rear, and then I'm going to throw 1 punch and I ki-ai. Aya. Then I step forward 3 more times. Step and throwing from the reverse hip. Punch 1, step, punch 2, step, punch 3. Let me do it from the side, and then you can get a slightly different view. We begin going to the left. Look left, step, block, punch. To the right, block, punch. To the left, going forward, block, punch, punch, punch. From here, the diagonals. Look, turn counterclockwise, block, block. Other diagonal, block, block. Going to the rear, step, punch, ki-ai, aya. Step, punch 1, step, punch 2, step, punch 3. See, I'm running out of space here, so I'm shifting my stepping. But if I back up just a little bit more, and I start on that diagonal from here, turn, punch, ki-ai. Step, punch 1, 2, and 3. So going to the rear, it's just going from the high block, open the stance up, facing the rear line, punch, ki-ai, then 3 more punches, each one coming from the reverse hip. So when you're going forward in the kata, you do the punching from the lead leg side. Step, punch, lead leg side each time. When you're going to the rear, it's the reverse. Punch from the reverse hip, coming from back leg, reverse, hip. So forward, lead punches, back, reverse, backwards, reverse words, rear punches, reverse punches. After that segment, we have another series of diagonals. Then we're done. So it's a fairly short pattern, short kata. I'll go through it again, then we'll add the final diagonals. So feet shoulder width, toes forward. We're ready to go. We look to the left. Long stance, block over the knee. Short stance, punch to the chest. Turn 180 degrees. Long stance, block over the knee. Short stance, punch towards the chest. Turn forward, block over the knee. Step up. Lead punch 1, lead punch 2, lead punch 3. Turn counterclockwise. Look, turn. Low block over the lead leg. Step forward along the diagonal. High block, protect the head. Look to the right. Low block over the lead leg. Step up, high block, protect the head. Turn to the rear. Throw a punch and a ki-ai. Aya. Step, punch 1, step, punch 2, step, punch 3. The new section, I'm going to turn counterclockwise again. End up on the last set of diagonals. I'm going to throw a low block again. Long stance again. Step up. We haven't used the high punch to the head yet. This is where it comes in. Throw the punch high. Look to the right. The final diagonal. Low block over the lead leg. Step up. High punch to the head and ki. So we ki in 2 places. When we turn to the rear and throw a reverse punch, and on our final diagonal where we punch to the head. Let's go through it again. We'll do the entire kata, adding the final 2 diagonals. Look left, turn, block over the lead leg, long stance. Step up to a short stance, punch, lead punch, turn to the right, 180 degrees. Block over the lead leg, long stance. Step up, punch the chest. Look to the left. Step, block, long stance. Short stance, punch 1, 2, 3. Look over your left shoulder, turn counterclockwise. First diagonal, long stance, low block. Short stance, high block. Look to the other diagonal, turn to the right. Long stance, low block, short stance, high block. To the rear, turn, punch, ki. Aya. Step punch, reverse punch, step punch 2, reverse punch, step punch 3, reverse punch. Look over your shoulder, turn, last diagonal, low block, long stance, lead punch high. Other diagonal to the right, low block, long stance, lead punch high. Step back, feet together. We'll do it from the side. Look to the left. Block, punch. Look to the right. Block, punch. Forward. Block. 1 punch, 2 punch, 3 punch. Look over the left shoulder. Turn. Diagonal. Block, block. Other diagonal to the rear. Block, block. Face the rear. Turn, punch ki. Aya. Step punch 1. Step punch 2. Step punch 3. Turn counterclockwise. Last diagonals. Low block. High punch. Other diagonal to the right, low block, high punch, ki. Aya. And then step back. Almost finished. What I haven't done yet is the announcement part of the kata. So we would start out here, nice and relaxed. Step forward. The hands open up, go down towards the sides. Step back, feet together, form a V shape. Bow. Come up, and we say the name of the kata. Fukyugata Ichi. So it's Fukyugata Ichi. Ichi means number 1, big one. There are 2 katas in the Fukyugata series. Sometimes you'll hear me say kata. Sometimes it'll sound like I'm saying it with a G, gata. When I say kata by itself, it has more of a K sound. If I combine it with other words, or in Japanese, other characters, the K sound transforms into more of a G sound. So I would say Fukyugata, or by itself, I would say kata. So again, we'll step out, step back, bow, come up, Fukyugata Ichi, and then step out. I can do this from the side. You get a better view of the raying or the bow. That's just a sign of courtesy. Step out, step back, the feet or heels together, toes apart. Ray, I want to bend at the hip. I don't want to curl over. So keep my back straight, keep my head in line with my spine. Ray, down, come up, say the kata, Fukyugata Ichi, and then step out to the side. At the end of the kata, when we throw that last punch, and kiai, step back together, feet together, bow, and then relax. So you begin and end your kata practice with this sign of courtesy, the bowing called a rei in Japanese. Let's do it again from the side. Step out, step back, bow, come up, Fukyugata Ichi, and then step out to the side. We're ready to begin. Look to the left, block, punch, to the right, block, punch, forward, block, punch, punch, punch. First diagonal, block, block, second diagonal, block, block, to the rear, aya, punch one, punch two, punch three. Fourth diagonal, block, punch high. Last diagonal, block, punch high, kiai, aya. Step back, feet together, heels touching, toes apart. Bow and set. Fukyugata Ichi. Look to the left, block, punch, to the right, block, punch, forward, block, 1, 2, 3, look to the rear, turn, go to the diagonal, block, block, other diagonal, block, block, face the rear, turn, kiai, punch, aya, step, punch, step, punch, step, punch. Last two diagonals, turn counterclockwise, block, punch high, block, punch high, step back, bow, and finish. As you practice this, you should be starting and stopping near the same mark. You might not do that the first time you try this. If I only have a very limited space, smaller than what's here on my deck, you can just double step things. So if you're at home and you have this limited space, I can start out, back, bow, say the name, Fukyugata Ichi, step out. That doesn't take up much space at all. Turning this way doesn't take up much space. But if there's a wall here, I can just exchange my feet to the short stance and punch. Then I turn. I want to get the foundation correct. Long stance. Make some adjustment. Get into the correct short stance and throw a punch. Then I turn this way, forward, long stance. And there's a wall here, so I have to stay in place. Punch, shift, punch, shift, punch. Turn counterclockwise, stay in the same space. Turn, block, block, turn, block, block, turn towards the rear, ki, aya, change feet, punch 1, change feet, punch 2, change feet, punch 3, turn around, block, change feet, punch, block, punch, finish. All within a small space, just exchanging feet. Each time you do that, make sure that you're in a well-balanced stance. All the techniques that I throw with the upper body are based on a sturdy, solid foundation. If my legs are weak, I can't throw a strong punch. If my abdominal section is weak, can't throw a strong punch. Everything is done with the entirety of the body in combination with the breath. So you're using the muscles, you're lining the bones, and you're delivering the technique. Let's go through it again. Step out, step back, heels touching, toes apart, bow, come up, say the name of the kata, Fukyugata, Ichi, cross your hands, then step feet apart. We begin going to the left. Long stance, wind up for the block, go from the shoulder to the knee, step forward, throw your punch, look to the right, long stance, throw your block over the knee, step forward, pull the block in, throw the punch. We're going to go forward now, turn to your left, low block over the front knee, step forward, 3 punches, 1, step, 2 punch, step, 3rd punch. Now we're going to turn to our left and end up on a diagonal to the rear. Look left, turn, we're on the diagonal in a long stance. Go from the shoulder, throw the block down over the knee. Short stance, throw the high block out, pull the other hand back in. Repeat it on the diagonal to your right, look to the right. Low block, long stance. Step up, short stance, high block. Now we turn towards the rear. Step, throw a punch, ki, aya. Then 3 more punches. Step punch 1, step punch 2, step punch 3. We're going to turn to our last 2 diagonals facing forward. Look left, turn, low block, long stance, short step, high punch. Turn to the right diagonal, last one, low block, long stance, step up, short stance, high punch, ki, aya. Step back, feet together, heels touching, toes apart, bow, and finish. Fukyugata Ichi. Fukyugata Ichi. I'm Sensei Kozarski. Thank you for joining me today. Arigatou gozaimasu. Stay healthy and positive, ganbatte, and look for more at-home workouts from your instructors at Penn State Campus Recreation, Fitness and Wellness.